welcome out once again. This is it. Right here, the Remix Morning Show. Right here for you and yours, right here on Black Power Media. All right. Now, we got a dope show for y'all. Y'all ready for it? Well, first of all, let me introduce you to my host. We got no other than Burn It Down, Kim. And Jackie Lukman. And no other than Dr. Jared Bull.
Primo, man. Did you all see, who was it? Somebody said, came out, and I think it was Kara. Somebody said that Shook One's Part 2 is the hardest boom bap track in hip hop history. And I immediately went into my mental crates because that's a selection. But I was like, there got to be a Primo beat. And that one is one of my favorites that you just opened us up with. So thank you, sir.
No doubt.
But I was thinking Come Clean. Anyway, I was like, anyway, what is that?
I mean, I
What's
like
up
this.
There? That's up there. KRS.
Boom, bap, original
rap.
Just that.
I mean, but how? I mean, if we're talking Primo, how you don't give that to Dwick though?
Ooh.
How you don't get that to Dwick?
I'm not mad at that either.
I'm thinking recognizable, like highly like everybody. Oh, that's
Mass
that blah
appeal,
blah blah.
royalty. I would put all of those up there. What's up, 40J? But anyway, but Shook One, and then I was even thinking, is Shook One's? Did I think of that as boom bap? I mean, it is. I don't know. It just put me into a whole. So I just thought, and then you opened it up with Primo, and I was like, so let me just ask.
Went down the hip hop rabbit hole.
Yeah, he did.
But that Shook One's joint.
It is. I mean, I like Quiet Storm. Shit.
I was gonna throw Quiet Storm in there, but I wasn't sure if it was boom bap enough.
That's another question.
That's
like, do the samples come in and make? I don't know. Especially since it's an old track redone.
Anyway, I don't know. Either way, good morning, everybody.
Yeah,
it's good to see you, everybody.
Good morning.
I'm not mad at that. I'm not. I don't have the hip hop acumen that you all do, but Shook Ones and Shook Ones 2. That's up right up there. That's like one of the 15, 20 hip hop songs I will always listen to all the time. Like right up there with Annie Up.
Oh man!
I tell you how many times I've listened to that.
I did, but I did. That was one of the ones that I broke on when Shook Ones came on in the car one time, and I said to the girls, I said, "I'm sorry," because the content lyrically is not appropriate. But I told them, I said, "I'm sorry." I said, "I can't." I was like, "I am not capable of turning this off." So we all had to. They just had to. I don't know what damage I did to my children in that moment, but I was like that beat. I was like, we can't turn this off. I was like, you got to understand.
It's terrible. It's crime, robbing, thieving, stealing. It's great.
Only 19, but my mind is old. Oh, yeah, I was, yeah.
Well,
it's redistribution. It's redistribution. Don't call it robbing. You know what I'm saying?
That's good. Thank you for the correction. You're right.
Well, let me swerve in your lane then, Jackie. If an alien was to come to this earth and ask what album could represent black rock and roll or rock and roll for you, what would you get to him?
What album could represent black rock? Oh my gosh.
And hip hop for y'all too.
I got mine. Well, I got my black rock one too. Now, come on now.
Oh, I forgot who I was dealing with. My bad.
But that's a good one though.
I would give it
Fishbone, I think. And that's hard. It's hard to determine which.
They are nice.
Early Fishbone is critical.
Ooh, somebody said Maggot Brain by Parliament.
Parliament. That's legendary. Yes, sir.
Maggot Brain is it has rock vibes, obviously, but I hesitate to put it in the rock category because it's funk. it's more funk to me.
That's true.
I can see
But
that.
yeah, Fishbone, Bad Brains, Eye Against Eye, Bad Brains. I would absolutely, that album
So what
is
makes it rock? Guitars?
No,
no.
I was having a conversation with somebody about that. Like because you all know the 70s is my favorite decade of music across
Mhm.
genres, right?
Mhm.
Everybody was playing the same instruments from
True.
the rock bands to the funk bands. Everybody got drum, bass, lead guitar, vocals, Hammond, or like everybody was playing the same instruments. And look at what they managed to make come out of the same instruments. Like how much different music they were able to make come out of that.
Yeah, so it's the arrangement, it's the vibe,
Mhm.
it's all of that, and not all of it was good. But
Can I give him Purple Rain?
no, no, that's R&B.
No?
No, I think that's
Hey,
R&B.
let's see, Jerry. Is it
I think that's R&B, and I don't say that to be disrespectful. I say that with all the respect in the world. I think there might be other, maybe not a whole album, but other stuff. And that's the thing. I can't put the album Purple Rain in the rock category because every song on the album did not have rock vibe.
Okay.
There were
Did
some.
you know that Doves Cry? Did you ever I didn't realize this until I heard it in a discussion a couple years ago, that Doves Cry does not have a bass line. And that was an intentional discussion, that Prince made an intentional choice not to have a bass line in that song. It never even occurred to me until a couple of years ago. But anyway, the only thing I would want to say for the Black Rock is my band would have to be Band of Gypsies. For me, they are the R9, the Brazilian Ronaldo. They are the Lauryn Hill of rock music. That is, the peak was at its height. It was just too short. It was just too short. The peak hit its height, the highest of heights. It was just too short. But Three Brothers on Stage, just harmonizing.
I don't disagree with that, and I would follow that up with Axis, Bold as Love. I would follow, with Jimi Hendrix. Yeah,
I was gonna go to Experience for mine. Yeah,
but you said Black Rock. So this was specifically Jimmy's all black band phase. So that's why I was like, the other bands were, and when you hear Buddy Miles, rest in peace, the drummer, explain on camera that an all-white industry could not tolerate them three and destroyed the band, I was like, it's deep. It's deep, and I can see it.
Yeah. Oh, and, one other band that never got the acclaim that they deserved was Death.
That's a good point.
Oh, look at that. Young 23. Yeah, Death out of Cleveland. Yeah. So that's what I would tell the aliens, and they may or may not come back and listen to all of those things. They may or may not take me.
Like, all right, we'll accept this. What about you, Incubus? Is that for you, Kim?
But see, I don't know if Incubus qualifies as black rock. You know what I'm saying? They would 3/5 non-white. You know what I'm saying? So 3/5 non-white, I don't think counts as necessarily black. I'm gonna have to go with Axis Bold as Love. I'm gonna have to agree, making some agreement there. It's just that my era, like it wasn't. I mean, Living Color was about it in terms of mainstream success, and then there was rock bands with black members, of course, Rage Against the Machine, Tom Morello, the Guns N' Roses with Slash, and they were the stars. You know what I'm saying? Like, at Axl Rose, whatever. If Slash wasn't destroying that lead guitar, Guns N' Roses would not be Guns N' Roses. If Tom Morello wasn't doing on the guitar what he was doing, Rage would not be Rage. You know what I mean? So.
Do you remember, because this popped up in our car ride the other day, and I forgot about this little moment. Do you all remember Mos Def's Black Jack Johnson? Black band? Yes. He snuck them in on a few tracks. And remember, it was specifically to make the point that all that Kid Rock and Limp Bizkit and all that other stuff, he was like, it was like, remember when James Brown heard, he
the Rolling Stones?
Well, I remember when it was the average white band. Like he took offense. He was like the average white band.
Yeah.
And he came back and did something in response. So that he had so Mos Def had that little moment, and I wish he would have done more with that because those tracks on the album he slugged, they are very nice.
Mm-hmm.
And
rock and roll, the song "Rock and Roll" is a whole diss record towards white rock music. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, Rolling Stones ain't got no soul. Jimi Hendrix is rock and roll. You may dig on, you know. But all the shit they did, they stole. Like, I mean, that was a diss track towards white rockers, and I was here for it.
Mm-hmm.
From the rooter to the tutor, because they even the name Rolling Stones, they took everything. Pink Floyd named after two different black blues players. Everything from the name to the notes they played.
Listen, if Aliens asked for our best musician,
absolutely,
this is the album I would give him.
Absolutely. No argument there.
But you be John was switching, and that's not. You said Black Rock.
I did. I already said Hendrix. I already said.
But then you pull out Stevie Wonder. Like how
you did qualify it and say best musician.
I did.
My bad.
I don't. Yes. I do not argue. I got no argument there.
Speaking of somebody who's musically,
uh-oh.
Anyway.
I thought you were the aliens.
Challenged. What up, Kamal?
Hey, Kamal.
Hi, everybody.
Oh man, what's this?
What? I just said hi, everybody. It just took a minute. Everything took a minute to get together.
Up.
That's all.
Get some coffee or something, man.
Oh, true.
Somebody was misbehaving in the car. That's how I look after dropping them off some of these days. Like, God damn these.
Exactly.
I don't like my class and teacher. I don't want to go.
All the time. All the time. This one is mean. That one is mean. This one does me do this one. This one. I can't find this. I can't find that. I didn't pack this. I didn't pack that. All the time.
But the middle schoolers, that's what they do. They forget names and they don't like anybody.
Yeah, and because it's a new school, so even more complaints. Hey,
Kamal, before we get into this break and get into some news and stuff, we was asking, what's your favorite Black Rock album? If aliens came to the planet and said, give me Black Rock, what album would you? Or do you even mess with rock?
Album? A whole album? It can't be like a song, I remember.
A song.
Give him a song.
I was going to say, God, I don't remember no album. Terrence Trent. Again, said Terrence Trent.
Terrence
Trent. That's not rock.
Rock.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and take a quick break. I said musically challenged when we first came on here. Am I correct? Oh, my gosh.
Y'all were having a discussion last week that I missed. I was very sorry that I missed it when y'all were breaking down who was the best overall between Beyonce and Michael Jackson. And I had thoughts, but I wasn't present. So I was screaming my opinions towards the phone.
You were saying Michael Jackson, of course. Michael, of course.
Of course.
Yeah,
but that wasn't exactly the topic, though. But go ahead, sorry, Kim. Yeah,
no. So so if you want to compare adult Michael to adult Beyonce, I think that is a very fair comparison. But when we're looking at the overall arc, the totality of their careers, you have to give it to Michael Jackson, and here's why. Because Michael was 9 years old on the Chitlin circuit. Michael was 11 years old, making people think that Smokey Robinson's song was his song. You know what I mean? Like the things that 9, 10, 11, 12-year-old Michael Jackson did has not been repeated. I think the closest child star that we have seen since Michael, talent-wise, might be, I hate to even say it like this, but might be Justin Bieber, to be honest. But in terms of what Michael was doing, because Beyonce wasn't out there like that. Beyonce was in her stable 2-parent household. Meanwhile, Michael was running away from ass kickings from Joe Jackson. Like, we can't compare. Like, you cannot compare. And Michael was under the constant threat of child abuse and out there performing miracles, out there performing excellence at 10 years old. So that
had a cartoon.
The only reason.
Cartoon. I forgot about that.
But remember, my argument, the focus, I remember for me specifically, was not a measurement of talent or quality. It was not that. It was specific to the impact culturally, specifically in specific reference to how one of my most militantly African-centered friends let his daughter go see Beyonce. It's in that context. And then his point was, I had a chance to see Michael Jackson as a kid. I don't want to deny my daughter a chance to see her pop cultural equivalent of Beyonce. So it's a discussion of impact on society. So I was only trying to incorporate digital media, the claimed politics of feminism, maybe, you know, all of these other things that associate and drive that level of fame. But anyway, that was it. It was not a measurement of talent, quality, musical capability. I was avoiding that entirely. And but that was really it for me.
I think we were saying the only person on the level of Michael Jackson in entertainment is Beyonce. That's what we was talking about.
No, and I disagree there, because at the end of the day, Stevie blowing both away. If we being real, you know what I'm saying?
Stevie ain't getting up dancing. We entertainers. I'm talking about.
What do you mean Stevie ain't up dancing? So what? He's not an entertainer?
No, he's not getting up dancing like with a whole crew of people.
Like,
but
well, that would be entertaining. It would be entertaining.
See, I ain't even gonna go down.
I mean, but that's what I'm saying.
Like, if you put a couple of obstacles in his way and had him, that might be entertaining.
Oh my God.
Anyway, so
have any two 15? No, were they 15? Were they in high school? I think these were high school students. Have any two high school students? How often would you think high school students would have gotten into fisticuffs over who was better, Michael Jackson or whoever versus Beyonce and whoever?
Never.
Michael Jackson,
not versus each other, but my point is, I watched two. I think they were in high school. I was presenting to. Anyway, I mentioned Beyonce in a critical way, and a young woman or girl's defense of my argument led to literal blows between her and a colleague.
Damn.
And because they were like the importance of Beyonce, and they were not going to withstand criticism. So I'm like, would that have happened? Would somebody say I like Prince more than Michael Lita?
People came to my high school dressed like Michael Jackson. And my high school was Brooklyn. Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Brooklyn. I mean, dude came with the glove on. With a jerry curl. He did get egged up. But that's not the point. The point is he had the nerve to come. I would say Michael pre-Bad, right? Thriller and before. I don't think anybody has ever come to that level of either fame or hysteria within, obviously within the Black community, but even wider worldwide fame. Post Thriller
comment.
That bad bullshit and the rest of it. I wasn't down with all that. Although he had some good songs. What? Ooh, that may be true.
What? We ain't talking about singing. We talking about entertainment.
Overall,
they dance about the same. Don't they dance about the same? No. I mean, is Beyonce
Whitney Houston as a dancer? Stop it.
No, sir.
No, and listen, the standards was very different, because I can remember in the early 90s, maybe in the late 80s, Whitney Houston had a tour that was booked that did not sell very well. And I can remember my mother and her friends talking about, well, she only gonna get up there and sing. Like, there was an expectation. You couldn't just get up there and sing. Like, you had to do something else. And we talk about Whitney Houston, one of the greatest voices ever. And motherfuckers was not checking just to stand there and see Whitney sing. Is Whitney gonna bust a move out here? No. Well, then she ain't getting these.
Ticket prices. Ain't
right.
Beyonce and J-Lo will, though. I'm just saying, they ain't the singers like Whitney, but they can shake it.
J-Lo.
Yeah.
I'm just all right. Let's leave on that one. Let's take a break. Welcome to the Remix Morning Show right here on Black Power Media. Let's go. Let's go. Yeah. What's good, everybody? Welcome out to the Remix Morning Show. I go by the name of the Ear Doctor. And yes, I would love for you to hit that like button and subscribe for all our new people coming in the building. Go to patreon.com, go to Black Power Media, and check out the different footage and different content we have over there that you cannot get here. Go over there and become a member. I swear you'll appreciate it so much more. All right. With that said, I wanted to let me put this in the background a little bit. I wanted to bring y'all here and give y'all a mental health moment before we get back into the rest of the show. So with that said, I wanted to talk about no other than breathing. Now let me tell you something about breathing. Proper breathing, first of all, starts from the nose, then moves to the stomach. As your diaphragm contracts, the belly expands and your lungs fill with air. It's the most efficient way to breathe. It pulls down the lungs, creating negative pressure in the chest, resulting in airflow into your lungs. So what I wanted y'all to do real quick is breathe with me real quick. On this first breath, what I want you to do is I want you to become present. I want you to be right here. So on 3, inhale, then exhale. 1, 2, 3, inhale. Exhale. And on the second breath, what I want y'all to do is take all that negative stuff that happened yesterday, and I want y'all to breathe it in and then breathe it out because we here now. We present. So 1, 2, 3. Breathe out. And on this last one, I want you to be intentional about bringing in all the positive, about manifesting and making what you want to happen by breathing. On 3. 1, 2, 3. Inhale. Exhale. And we are here, y'all. So that is your mental health segment right here with the Ear Doctor. Now let's go ahead and get back to the Remix Morning Crew because I know they about to talk some shit. You better breathe.
Sorry. Yeah.
First of all, are you
That's
growing
a nice
out your
track.
beard or something? Your beard and mustache?
Me?
No, that's you.
Wait.
It did seem like that's how it
What's
was.
going on? You know what I'm saying?
It did seem like you was asking
It's a little
Kim.
patchy, you know what I'm saying? It's coming together.
I was talking to the ear doctor.
Cool. Okay. Glad we cleared that up.
You know, I'm trying to be Jared Ball's doppelganger, the younger version.
Not his doppelganger.
And are you coloring in it? Because it don't look like that. I think you got more gray in your face.
Oh no. It's all. Now I don't do no dyes. No
sure?
yellow fires. No black.
Oh,
nothing.
okay. It looked a little colored in.
Come out jealous.
I'm
I'm definitely jealous. I'm definitely.
I ain't there yet.
I disagree. I like the gray. I wish it would just go all gray for me. This salt and pepper mismatch all over the place is not my thing. But I'm not mad at the gray. I'm like, it's a badge. It's like, yeah, I'm old, you young monk. Man.
Come through, you silver foxes. Don't be paying no attention to these youngsters. They don't know about that salt and pepper sexy out here.
Out here with that Beijing in your beard. Nah.
There you go.
Third, what the fuck is this about breathing? I mean, you just breathe. I hate when people talk about breathing as if there's some special way to breathe. You just breathe. Anybody who needs training breathing has obviously lost.
You probably breathe through your mouth. Your whole time. You're a mouth breather.
I'm definitely in between on this one. I get people overdo it, but come on, Kamal. There's definitely importance to breathing techniques.
What is a breathing technique?
Listen,
first of all,
go ahead. I'm just gonna say this. It might be a situation that comes awry, and it might
comes awry.
Yeah, it's about to get crazy.
Take
your time and breathe. Yeah, awry don't work there.
It works.
No, not really.
It does.
I'm riding with Air Doctor. It works.
It does not come awry. It does not come awry.
It
does not a time that comes awry.
I know what you mean, but
it fucking comes awry.
Comes awry. Yes.
This is your African rebellion, Ear Doctor. You won't speak this colonizer's language. Stay with it. Stay with it.
Working on it, man.
Damn this language. Who gives a damn about this language?
I want to tell people I'm on a Remix Morning Show. They like, no, you not.
So you saying the situation, and you need to breathe. You need to calm down and breathe correctly. Yeah.
So if something happens before you make that thought and do something crazy, you done thought about it for a quick second. That breath gives you time before you wild out. That's all.
Yes. That there's something there's something biological and physiological about that. Whatever your fight or flight system is, I don't know what the technical term for it is, but yes, you can help to calm and settle your heightened nerves by breathing.
Yes.
Thank you.
And there is a particular breathing technique that you should learn if you have panic attacks. And you can literally breathe your way through a panic attack and dissipate it.
I've never had one of those.
Really?
No. This woman in my class of law school, she had a panic attack. I just kept looking at her like, is she losing her mind? I had no sympathy at the moment. At the moment, I had no sympathy. It was more like, can you stop doing that next to me? She's like, can you take my books and bring them back later? And she literally, I felt bad later, but at the time I was like, what is going on with you right now?
You are literally a bastard. All right, listen, I'm out of here. I catch you on the next break.
Kamal the curmudgeon once again.
He was young. He was
I was in my 30s. I was in my early
in his 30s. This was last week, Kim. Hey, before we move on, just real quick, I want to thank the patrons. We sent out, my daughter and I went to the post office yesterday and spent over 2 hours packaging and shipping off all the orders. I'm not doing that again. We need a new method for distribution because there are more to go. But that was a lot. That was
how many you sent out?
It's over 100 in total, and most of it in individual packages. So it's like, baby girl is
are the man. Yeah,
and then you got to handwrite that.
Yeah,
it's like it was a lot.
You didn't even do labels for the.
No, I mean, because you got to. I mean, I wouldn't even know how to do that, but you have to. It would have been for each individual person. And people, so I'm glad that there were that many, and then we sent off a couple bulk orders. We got an arrangement with Massive Books up in Massachusetts, who's going to bring them into prisons. So thanks to them. But that part I appreciate, but that labor part, boy, I was like, man, I haven't worked. I'm a teacher, man. I can't be doing all this. This is standing around and carrying boxes. That was a lot.
You got to hit me up next time. I'll help you out with the mailing labels and because there's
a trick to this.
Writing those. That's no.
We did get some looks, and then I signed a copy and gave it to the sister that processed all of this on the other end, because I was like, at the end of it, I was like, this is what you ship, and if you don't mind, if you would take one, I would be, and then she was like, yeah, I don't turn down books. So she's,
cool.
She said, nice. So I signed a copy, gave it to her, and but we were over there. It was a good 2.5 hours. It was, it was a minute.
It's a lot of work.
It was for me.
Hey, Ball, I got a table with a short leg. Could you send me one?
Oh, wow.
What? Oh,
I don't know.
Damn.
What?
Damn.
So that's right, because I thought about that Jadakiss line when I was last listening to his last mixtape, to Ear Doctor's last mixtape. He had a line about I used to rock to your tapes, now I break weed up on it. So while you using my book to hold up your table, I'm breaking up my fresh batch on your mixtape. So it's all good.
Y'all better leave my mayor alone.
Well, Remix Gang, can we go ahead and slap the map? Peace, everybody. It's the Remix Morning Show exclusively here on Black Power Media. Today is Wednesday, August the 16th, straight up 8:30 Eastern time. Big up to the West Coast, them who up with us early, 5:30 a.m. Everybody else in between, come on in, give the video a like, subscribe to the channel, become a patron to Black Power Media at patreon.com/Black Power Media. You can also get some gear at blackpowermedia.org. Look at this full crew. Look at these beautiful collection of Africans on the screen. I need y'all to admire this for a second. Sit back, admire the glory, the shine. Look at Black people on screen, just giving it to y'all. Everything, every aspect of our culture. Y'all gonna get it here from us today on the Remix Morning Show. We got Kamal Franklin, Jacqueline Lukman, Dr. Reverend Jared Ball. My name is Kim Brown. We've got the ear doctor in the cut, and we've got you all here, remixers. So thank you all so much for waking up and rocking with us as y'all do each and every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday mornings right here on Black Power Media.
Nice, very nice.
I peeked in the chat. My bad. Oof.
What happened?
What happened in the chat?
They just it's. I'll catch up, everybody. Anyway, let's Woo, the chat, boy. Woo, good morning.
What's wrong with that? They in there cracking jokes. What's going on? Who getting cracked on?
I'm just catching up on all the label jokes and all the Anyway, that's hilarious. Anyway, where we going first? What you want to do?
We got stories. Jacqueline, why don't you set us off, baby?
Yeah, can we talk about Maui?
Yes.
And, obviously the fires have resulted now, and I think it's 101 deaths. And the capitalistic exploitation that contributed to this fire are now being revealed, which, I remember a while ago when the indigenous people of Hawaii were telling folks, stop coming here. Stop coming with your tourism and buying up our property, and because we can't afford to live here anymore. And y'all didn't listen. So now, we're seeing articles out of Reuters saying that Maui tourism an economic mainstay. Can I just say that no culture, society, city, state should depend on tourism to survive. That is just, oh God. And Maui tourism sparks anger amid fire ruin. This is one of the devastated, burned out buildings in Lahaina. They say in this article, the incongruous sight of tourists enjoying Maui's tropical beaches while search and rescue teams trawl building ruins and waters for victims of the deadliest U.S. wildfire in more than a century has outraged some residents. So understand what's happening here. People are still going to Maui, hanging out on the damn beach after this fire. And I cannot understand the depravity of people who would do this, but it's true. They have vented on social media. This is the Maui residents posting video of tourists enjoying holiday activities like snorkeling, while the death toll in the historic resort town of Lahaina passes 100 and is rising every day. Our community needs time to heal, grieve, and restore, Hawaiian actor Jason Momoa said on Instagram, urging tourists to cancel their trips. Authorities and businesses have welcomed the trickle of travelers, saying it will lessen the blow to the island's economy, which relies heavily on tourism. The industry is Maui's economic engine, generating 80% of its wealth, according to the island's Economic Development Board. But here's the problem with this Maui depending on tourism situation. It is the resorts that are built in Maui and other parts of Hawaii, particularly in Maui, and the rich people who have bought up a bunch of land, like Oprah Winfrey, who has 2,000 acres of land in Maui, who have diverted water resources to the resources and to their private compounds that made it more difficult for the people, the municipal services in Maui to respond to the fire. And I just, aside from the fact that we are seeing who will be impacted the most by climate catastrophe. We're seeing it happening before our very eyes. We're also seeing that capitalism and exploitation and billionaire greed makes a bad situation even worse, because all these people had to do was not steal the water for their high-priced resorts and their high-priced compounds, and maybe this situation would not have been so bad. But the fact that people are still on vacation, hanging out on the beach, while the people of Lahaina are devastated, I the depths of depravity, of settler depravity, there are no depths apparently.
And the other part I wanted to mention really quickly is the potential cause, or what exacerbated or made it even worse. Videos put scrutiny on downed power lines as possible cause of deadly Maui wildfires. So awakened by the howling winds that tore through his Maui neighborhood, Shane Chu went out at dawn and saw a wooden power pole suddenly snap with a flash, its sparking, popping line falling to the dry grass below and quickly igniting a row of flames. And it says he called 911 and then turned on his Facebook video stream to live stream his attempt to fight the blaze, including wetting his property. So there's been a lot of conversation about the power company that didn't protect the lines or didn't do anything prior, knowing that these power lines, again, and other fires or other places around the country, have been the cause of some of these wildfires themselves. And so there's a lot of scrutiny now being placed on, not only the conditions of climate change, which exacerbate any type of fire that starts, but the fact that the companies that could very well protect communities by either changing how the power lines are laid out or wrapping them in special coated and all the rest of it have done nothing, because it's easier for them to continue to collect profit.
And a number of lawsuits actually have been filed against the Hawaii Power Company by the residents affected by this fire. And it seemed, I mean, it was a epic collapse, and the results of settler entitlement, people coming to the island despite being told not to. During COVID, Native Hawaiians were begging people on the mainstream to please keep y'all germy COVID asses the fuck out of these islands, because the disease is being felt more acutely here. But in terms of this fire, the power company did not turn off the power lines. The fire company found that hydrants were dry. Like, can you imagine? You are in a seaside community with no water to fight the fire. Like, that just boggles my mind. Residents also said that there was no alerts. The siren system failed. There was no evacuation orders given. I mean, it was just a recipe for what we have here, the worst wildfire disaster in 100 years in this country. And if, like you said, Jackie, I mean, in California, a lot of those wildfires were sparked by power lines that had not been maintained, some of whom were hanging on hooks that were 75 years old, were rusted, and just waiting for a power line to fall to the ground to potentially spark another wildfire. I mean, this country is not meeting the moment. Like, climate catastrophe is here. But if there were some sensible bureaucrats in charge of our infrastructure making common sense decisions, maybe we wouldn't feel the effects as harshly. We're going to feel it, period, point blank. But there are common sense steps that could be taken from those in power to make sure that stuff doesn't get 100 people dead from a wildfire. All that loss of life did not have to occur.
Yeah, and the power companies, the municipal entities, the city councils, they are on the side of the developers. And speaking of developers, this is also happening right now as people are in shelters, as people are still searching for the dead in Maui. Developers are calling homeowners, offering to buy their land where their homes just burned down. This is happening right now. And Let's see. Maui residents are mourning the loss of their homes and adamantly pledging to stay put after the deadliest wildfires in U.S. history in more than a century destroyed neighborhoods across the island. They said they are worried if insurance payouts and government assistance don't come fast enough, survivors may lose hope and sell to people who will drastically change their beloved but rapidly gentrifying community. The same thing was done in Puerto Rico, by the way, after the last couple of hurricanes. In the days since the fires began, developers have reached out about acquiring the land and their families, the land they and their families have lived on for years, if not generations. So in that context, when we see that Joe Biden, his response is to give each household, not each person, each household $700 measly in relief. And we understand how slow FEMA is and how FEMA responds to disasters in a very class hierarchy racialized manner, right? Where it's almost always the rich white people who get the most relief. And the
but
poor,
Jackie, what can you expect Biden to do after giving all that money to Ukraine?
This is true.
You know,
This is
like
true.
what more could he be expected to do?
Ukraine got all the money, but the last thing, real quick, as far as Oprah Winfrey is concerned, let me just share this. So she went to a shelter, which I guess is not a bad thing, but she wanted to bring a camera crew inside the shelter.
Of course.
But the people's homes are still smoldering. The search and rescue efforts or the search efforts are still going on to find bodies. And this woman wants to take a camera crew into the shelter where people are not only mourning their homes, but mourning their dead. And I just,
again, Jackie, we can't lose sight of what is the core tenet of imperialism and capitalism. She is the media equivalent of what you reported about the developers. In crisis, as they say, there is opportunity. So we're not going to do no real work and just sit quietly at home and deliver actual material resources. I'm gonna bring a camera.
And that's probably like her first thought. She hopped on the phone with her publicist and was like, can we arrange for me to get to one of these shelters?
It was probably a race. Who called who first? We were all diving for their phones at the same time. It was like, I mean, yeah, you're right.
From what I understand, it was a CBS Good Morning crew that she wanted to come with. And we all know who is the host of CBS Good Morning, her homie, Big G.
Wow.
Big Gail.
Oh,
You know what I'm saying? Got to make sure Gail's show gets the scoop. And I saw that, and I'm like, man, the depths of our profession. You know, I mean, journalism. You're supposed to try to get the story. You're supposed to try to put cameras in people's faces when they're suffering because it gets good pictures. You're gonna get amazing sound bites, and it's like the lack of general empathy and compassion that journalism as a industry usually shows to people who are experiencing tremendous loss and disaster is it's not one of the more, you know, benevolent parts of what journalism can do. So I was like, Jesus, Oprah, why did that
And then going back to the disaster. Oh, go ahead, Jack. No, go ahead, Jack.
I just wanted to quickly shout out Silver Spook, who came on this platform, I believe earlier this year, late last year, to talk about from the perspective of the indigenous in Hawaii. Why, as he said, tourism is colonialism and don't come. He was explicit. Do not come here. And then he went into some of the Oprahs and the Bill Gates and the people who are really the ones benefiting from all that tourism. And then honestly, to see it as a contradiction in my own life in Panama, you can see the tourism within Panama as we became, because we take trips within the country when we visit. And you can see how the entire country becomes reformed to accommodate tourism. And it's gross. I mean, it's just gross. and so yeah. Anyway, I mean, don't come. It doesn't help them. They're not. The people are not evolving. The local people, the working people, the quote unquote bottom rungs, they're not pulled up by our, we're not doing them no favors when we,
by
show
making
up
them maids and waiters and so forth at these fancy resorts, which apparently again still have power and the rest of it to continue serving tourists as other people are digging out to find dead bodies. And so I was going to match that point or talk about that around the disaster capitalism. So it reminds me, like New Orleans, Katrina, how the public officials and the developers start to use these as opportunities to do exactly based on that story that was brought up. Now they're already, if they don't already had the plans, they're shaping the plans as we speak around grabbing, like folks said, grabbing that land. What's going to now be on there, buying out the home buyers or the people who are living there for small change, but making sure they get money immediately as opposed to waiting for insurance or waiting for FEMA, and then doing some colossal big new resort or hotel complex for more tourists to come. And so that those folks are already plotting and planning, not thinking about, what's good. And then they'll do the same thing. They'll have a PR campaign. Oh, we gave people this, we gave people that. Have somebody cry because they just got a check and they were like, we waited for such and such and such, but now they've moved on. But all that land is now shifted to private hands in cooperation, but usually again with municipal and state governments that are like, yes, more tourists, more money, more whatever, let's bring it on.
Yeah, and just to be clear for people who don't know, Oprah Winfrey owns 2,000 acres of land in Maui, several houses, not just one, several. So the idea that she is acting in a philanthropic way by showing up at this shelter with a camera crew, please. But
is she opening any of her several homes on her massive property to people who have now lost their homes? Like that, that's the Oprah story I would like to hear. Like, okay, Oprah may not be able to save everybody, but she could easily put 50 youngins up on her property. You know what I'm saying? With no problem. You know what I'm saying?
Feed them, clothe them, water, like for months without even a second thought, without a drop of any wealth intake that she has. But no, her first thought, let's get the camera crew out there.
Just repulsive. So today we're on By Any Means Necessary. We're talking to Noelani Ahia, I think is her name, and she is a Hawaiian activist. We're going to be having a conversation with her, and because of the time difference, they're like 6 hours behind. It's been kind of difficult to get her on here. But I would love to try. Maybe we could do a pre-record or something with her. But I would love to have her come on and hear from her. What's
on top of which she got to show up after I was there yesterday. So it's just difficulties all around, unfortunately. But anyway.
Okay.
Anyway, I will be right back.
It's not the live hour. She's not doing the live hour.
I'm just
You're terrible.
All of them.
No, but yeah, but we definitely do need to hear more from folks like that. So thank you for that as well. Anyway, I know we got. Speaking of wreckages and fixer-uppers and
disaster
colonial damage, disaster capitalism.
Colonial fuckery.
Yeah.
Damn, you doctor, you gonna stand for that, man?
I'm no longer have the capitalist mind state due to hanging around.
That's good.
Yeah. I realize money isn't everything.
Finally, Jesus Christ.
Well.
My work is done. My work is done.
I feel like I'm being set up. So on that note,
what?
It was too much, wasn't it?
I took him seriously.
Oh man, get money, y'all. No, I'm just playing. All right, we go. can't take me nowhere. All right.
No.
So what we gonna do is we gonna take a quick break and we're gonna come back with some more for y'all right here on no other than the Remix Morning Show.
The remix.
You wanna what? What's good, everybody? How y'all doing out there? Make sure y'all hit that like button and subscribe if you're new to the channel. All right, let's get into it right here, right now. We want to do an artist spotlight, not just an artist spotlight, but before I even go there, since we was on our breathing earlier, let's also talk about affirmations. How you start your day off. Do you start your day off getting in the mirror and saying, yo, you're a great person. Go out there and represent. Do that. That's my affirmation this morning was, I'm blessed to be creative, and I will use this, and everything will be dope. All right, that was my affirmation this morning. So as you see, we right here at the Remix Morning Show. Dopeness personified. All right, with that said, let's talk about no other than an MC that came with an album back in 1994. We're talking about J. Rue the Damager. The Sun Rises in the East. Now, this album came out. It's produced by DJ Premier. This album right here was, let me tell you, when this album came out in 94 off of Payday Records, it was an album that was down with the Gangstar whole crew where you know you was going to have Premier doing the production. You also had Afu Ra on this album, was also down with him. And as you can see in the picture, this the album cover even depicts the World Trade Center on fire 1 year after the 1993 bombing of the North Tower. So this was like really like, yo, he's coming with it, some consciousness. So it came out as a big East Coast rap album, and it was around the time where you had Wu-Tang Clan, 36 Chambers, Nas, Illmatic, Big L, Notorious Big, Ready to Die, Black Moon, End of the Stage. A lot of these different albums was coming out at this time. So to have a conscious album, this conscious come out and had the beats that it had, oh my goodness, you got to check it out. So with that said, go check out this album, The Sun Rises in the East. It got a bunch of dope singles on it. You're talking about Come Clean. You talk about Mind Spray. You talk about jungle music, the bitches, all types of music. When he's like, yo, don't call these sisters bitches. All right, with that said, I believe it. All right, let's get back to the Remix Morning crew so we can talk about it right here on the Remix Morning Show. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for that. That's at least 2 or 3 of those songs off that album are in constant rotation.
Okay.
Play that beat again. That beat. Yeah.
I love Jay.
It was one of the best beats of all time.
Mm-hmm.
You talking about that one or you talking about this one?
That one. That one.
Yeah, Come Clean.
Yeah, Come Clean.
Yes. Very
so,
nice.
I just wanted to bring up some different albums that have some consciousness to it. So I'm gonna start doing a lot more of those albums and everybody else too, because this is art. So it's different types of art, but we definitely gonna get some more conscious stuff.
And Jay was still around, right? He's still performing?
He moved. I think he's out in Germany now, but yeah, he's still out there performing, getting money. You know, they appreciate hip hop a whole lot over there.
They appreciate a lot of black
culture. You ain't lying.
The Germans do?
It doesn't necessarily mean they're better on racial issues. They it's just, you know, when you have an actual education system that develops, you know, human potential, you appreciate art. That's
Post the 1940s.
Especially when you don't have to worry about money all the time. So there's other things you can think about.
That.
All right. That said, I'll catch you on the next break.
Peace. Yeah, Dr. Remixers, come on in here. We probably going to get us a mix if y'all be nice. So come on in, give us a like, a thumbs up on the video. Shout out to our new members and anyone. I'm a remind Kamal that we are at August the 16th. So some of y'all got paid yesterday, and it's not the first. So Kamal, if you don't mind, it says there is time to run part of the.
You are so correct. You are so correct on this. This is August 16th, day after payday. I saw one new member, but I haven't really seen people jumping in to give the $2, to $5, to $10, to $25. Where's our folks that used to give us like lire and other kinds of money? Like where's the pound at? You know what I'm saying? Where's the pesos at? Where's everything? What's going on? We got an international audience with international currency. We got BRICS getting together to have a new multinational currency to take away the dollar. Get that. Get some of that in advance and throw that over here in the basket. Throw that up in here. We need that. We need that. In fact, we may not go on until I see at least one new donation. Where's brother Daddy Z at? He hasn't given in like 2 seconds. I don't understand what's happening.
You calling people out?
Sandra Buttles. She usually gives a couple of dollars.
ZZ Lion Dad has been a consistent and a persistent donor to our channel. So
he has been in the past. In the past.
Somebody else's pocket.
How about that, sir?
Happy birthday to Renee. Come on now, Renee. You know I meant to throw that happy birthday at you. Throw me a couple of dollars and I'll sing a song for you, girl. Throw a couple of dollars, I'll sing a song for you.
Renee, I wished you happy birthday last night on Birthday Down with Kim Brown. Happy belated birthday going out to Afro Sings as well. My Leo babes out here. We still stunting on these hoes. Come on now. Still Leo season.
There we go. Here we go. Oh, okay.
All right.
Only 85 likes for this show. We got 390 viewers. We know we're going to bounce over that 400 mark again. You know we're going to get over 2,000 on the stream before it's done. How come we can't get some more? How are we going to keep this going? How are we going to keep this going when YouTube is on our ass? Y'all know that. Y'all know. We're about to get like strike 2, strike 3. We need some dough. We need to peddle some change out here. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
That's my lawyer. Look at my lawyer getting hyped to Annie up.
Do that. Let's do that. Smash this shit. Smash. I better see some Patreon.
You walk into a courtroom with Annie up playing.
Yo, I would be confident in his counsel and his ability.
You know what I'm saying?
I need my lawyer bumping some MOP.
Oh, say Adanya? You think I'm close? I got the salam.
That sounds right.
Adanya Salam.
Oh, do you know the system? Something like that? How you know that? That was good.
I read in this fundamental.
Oh,
you know what? You read like you've been locked down for like 4 years.
Shut up. Shut up, come out.
And I think she became a new member too. So thank you for that. Appreciate you. Big ups.
Thank you.
No big. Oh, wait a minute. We got a 20. We got 20 on it. We got 20 on it. You know what I'm saying?
Franny coming through with the dub.
Come on now.
Look at Franny Fonte.
You know what I'm saying? Where's the regulars at? I don't see the regulars popping up with no dodo. You know what I'm saying?
I think we like Franny. Well, we appreciate all the bucks, of course.
Where is Franny?
That is Franny. TWR.
That's
Franny.
How you know that's Franny? How y'all know that?
Because we pay attention to our.
Oh, my bad. Y'all pay attention.
We pay attention to our folks. Listen, we know we got some radical whites in here like Franny French. So radical whites, we know that y'all make a little bit more than the Negroes. So y'all might have to dig in your pockets a little deeper. If Franny got 20 on it, I'm not going to call out the whites that I know is in here. I'm just making a strong suggestion. I'm just making a suggestion. If Franny got 20 on it, what you got on it? So-and-so.
Hey, we trying to be like Clarence Thomas. We trying to be out on the beach. Yo.
What in the world?
Yo,
that was shocking. Even for me, that was shocking. Yo, I got 5 on it. That's what I'm talking about.
Thank you. And we did miss a couple birthdays. We missed Ricky Ryan's birthday.
Oh wow!
Last week. Was it last week? I think it was last week. Yeah, we did. So happy belated birthday.
All names make sense. Now it's all making sense. You know what I'm saying? You would know a Leo queen by her crown. And listen, okay, you would know these Leo babes out here.
Now give me 5 minutes. Somebody at my door. I got to run them off. Hold on.
Okay. So real quick, let me share this. Over here in DC, we are really focusing on the planned military intervention of Haiti with Kenya, Jamaica, and the Bahamas cooking up a police force to send into Haiti to train the police to combat the armed gangs that are armed by the core group in the U.S. and France and Canada. So this Thursday, this week. That's Thursday of this week on the August 17th from 12 o'clock to 2 p.m. We, the Black Alliance for Peace, Washington, D.C. Citywide Alliance, and the Mid-Atlantic region will gather and demonstrate at the Kenyan Embassy first. And then we're going to raise hell in front of the Kenyan Embassy, and then we're going to go a couple doors down to the Jamaican Embassy and raise hell there to oppose those countries' leaders' willingness to lead a foreign intervention force into Haiti. We need to let them know that their actions have not gone unnoticed and that the people do oppose their actions. So please, all out for Haiti this Thursday, August 17th from 12 to 2 p.m. at the Kenyan Embassy here in Washington, D.C., 2249 R Street Northwest. Then we'll be going just a few doors down to the Jamaican Embassy at 1520 New Hampshire Avenue Northwest. No to occupation, no to foreign intervention, no to the black face of imperialism, yes to Haitian sovereignty, yes to real Pan-African alliance between the people of Haiti, Kenya, Jamaica, and us here in the U.S. I'll drop this link in the chat for you all to have. Please come out and support the people of Kenya and let the people of Kenya know that we see what these people are trying to do to them, and we're not having it.
That's smelly. I mean, when you said that, I mean, even for you to continue, for you to report it, Jackie, that Kenya, Jamaica, and the Bahamas are about to do basically an invasion. I'm like, that stinks. Like it stinks. It smells bad. Like, what are y'all doing?
Well, they're doing the job that the U.S. and Canada wants to do, but they know they can't do because there's too much heat on them. They don't want to be they don't want to be seen as the ones leading another invasion of Haiti. They recognize that the optics are very bad for that right now. So they've got these African comprador leaders, these Caribbean comprador leaders, CARICOM, to do their bidding for them. So we're gonna show them what real Pan-Africanism is.
No, she's exactly right. Like that, they would not even be doing this if the United States wasn't putting them up to it and offering resources in the background to do this, right? Not resources for the people, not resources to rebuild their economy or their country, but resources they know are going to get stuffed in these so-called leaders' pockets. And that's the reason why they're able to say that we don't got to be the frontal force, right? We can make it look good. Let's get some other black folks to invade black folks. That's all it is. Let's get some black folks to invade black folks. That's all that is.
Well, maybe we can send some messages out to the soldiers, to the enlisted people of Jamaica, the Bahamas, and Kenya. Like, don't do that shit. Say no. Like, don't go. Don't show up. Don't obey those orders. Don't get on that flight. Like, don't even go. And they show up there with like two youngins, and then what y'all doing?
Yeah, tomorrow we're going to have a call-in day where we call into the embassies and to the CARICOM offices. Should have a script for that to be distributed today so that people can call in and disrupt their work. Just disrupt their work all day long. Just call. We see what y'all doing. Stop that. We don't want you to do that. That all they do is answer phones and field messages from us. So, you'll have your assignment tomorrow. And on Saturday, if you're around in Washington, D.C., if you're in the area, there'll be a teach-in on Haiti and what's going on in West Africa and what that means to Africans here at the Black Workers and Wellness Center, Southeast Washington, D.C. So I'll have more information about that tomorrow.
Word. Thank you, Jacqueline. Thank you.
And shout out to my uncle-in-law who did just what you all suggested. When he was in the U.S. military back in the day, and they said they're going to invade Panama, he said, "I'm not going." So as he recovers in his own, medical situation now, strength to him, and shout out to all those who think like that.
Kamal, can you acknowledge some of our recent donations? Because you have spurred something here.
True. What we got? Wait a minute. Let me go back. Somebody knocked on my door, and so that put me off a little bit. Wait, let me go back up. I don't know how to get. Okay. So yep. Thank y'all for putting it up on the screen. Sandra, you know I love you dearly. I don't know how much can I. You know, me and Sandra used to date a little bit back in the day.
I thought you was going to say y'all
That's like
used to
40
steal
years
girls.
ago. That's like 40 years ago.
Me and Sandra used to push packs back in the day. That's why
I don't know if I can say. Can you? I don't know if she wants me to say that, but I was like, if I did, it was like 30 minutes ago. BK stand up, Kamal. All right, true. Anthony D on the 5 on it. Don't sing. Come on, girl. You know you want me to sing. Thank you, including the remixers who showed mad love yesterday. That's right. And I got to meet Renee in person. Renee is tall. Renee is like 5'10". You know what I'm saying?
I'm jealous.
You know what I'm saying? Megan, thank you. $9.99. You got $9. You should have put the whole 10 on there, Megan, but I appreciate the $9.99. You know what I'm saying? Thank you,
Okay,
Mac.
just like a true Mac.
I'm just saying, though, if you're going, just throw the whole 10 on there. You know what I'm saying? Like, another $2 by Fanny. You know what I'm saying? Nice. We appreciate it.
Franny got a book. I remember we shipped off a book to Franny yesterday. So shout out to Franny for that as well. Yep. Right on.
Thank y'all so much. We appreciate it. We know it's going to keep coming throughout the show now to make it rain. We appreciate it. We are close to 400 views. I don't know what the like count is like, but the money count is good. We can go on. I feel like we can go on for now.
Yeah, indeed. Check y'all's email. I sent y'all a story. I
got them up for you.
Oh, good. Kamal beat me to it. Yeah.
Run that DNA story, everybody. Because all right. The propaganda is strong, right? So NBC Washington, my favorite news station to critique because they be bad and shit. So I have to get on NBC Washington from time to time because their standards has gone down tremendously. The quality of the broadcasts have gone down tremendously. It's really a sad thing to see local journalism just go out way sad. Not to say it was knocking it out the park anyway. But anyway, so I first saw this story on NBC Washington, and it looks like a nice little benevolent story, right? The DNA links, former enslaved people to this enslaved plantation, basically up in Frederick County. And they're trying to link up with 23andMe and encouraging Black people in the area to give up their DNA to see if any of these remains of enslaved people that have been discovered, are these your ancestors? And I'm like, a mass dragnet of DNA of Black people. What could go wrong? What could go wrong? So come out, if you don't mind, run the story and let NBC Washington tell us about this plan to ensnare thousands of people's DNA. In the DC area.
I got you. It's coming on now.
I know what you're thinking.
Of course, it's a commercial
this
first.
This is not a dryer sheet. Earth is a new type of launch detergent.
Yeah, let me get that sound down before the commercial has to go.
While this is running, can I just say, because I was listening on the way to soccer practice, do you know Come Clean is literally my ringtone? I just want to put that out there. For years now, It is my ringtone. So
that's one of the baddest beats in the land ever.
No question.
Yeah,
no question.
Yeah.
It's the real.
All right, here we go.
Frederick County, Maryland, you'll find a portal into the past. This is the Catoctin Furnace, where hundreds of enslaved people lived and worked in the 1800s, doing backbreaking work in an iron mill.
They're not just names. They're not just numbers or.
Just to stop 1 second. Did she say lived and worked in the 1800s?
Exactly
yes.
What she said.
She didn't use the term. Is this in Florida or some shit like that? Did she not use the term enslaved?
It was on the screen, but they did. That's where they lived and worked and played and rested and learned trades and were exposed to religion and all the good things that you need to be a good human being and civilized. Come on now. What's the problem?
My bad.
Check marks on a ledger or a sale record. These are real people.
And for the first time, thousands of people today could soon discover these enslaved workers were their ancestors.
These are headstones and footstones.
Scientists have been doing DNA research on workers who were buried here at this cemetery. The Smithsonian and Harvard University teaming up with 23andMe.
And this identical by descent comparison is something that's never been done before. People want to know what their ancestors.
I'm sorry. Again, is that the image of the enslaved African with the shovel going off to
Workers. Yes.
Your worker. What
Immigrant workers.
the fuck was that? Is that the image that's supposed to represent us for? Okay.
And we want them to be able to embrace that story.
One descendant who's now doing that is Crystal Emery.
I think everybody has a story. I think everybody deserves to be remembered by somebody.
She recently learned her third great-grandfather lived and worked near the furnace. He was a free Black man named Robert Patterson. Crystal believes her fourth great-grandfather may have been enslaved, but records are spotty.
They didn't think enough of these people to give them a name in the diaries. They didn't even say we buried a male.
These people?
They couldn't find one like still Black descendant.
Right. I'm sorry, because I was just like, isn't she a white lady? What happened?
They couldn't find one who's like through the whole lineage of miscegenation that they couldn't
Not
find one.
still Black.
Not still Black. What's still Black?
That was in the follow-up story, because again, that is the first of two stories about this Catoctin furnace and this 23andMe and Harvard DNA project that I've seen. So I'm like, oh, y'all propagandizing this shit for real. This is garnered not one but two stories.
And they found a white lady to interview about.
Well, and I'm imagining that spurred the second story, which featured a Black man, right? So yeah,
they had to find one.
They had to find one.
Some producer was like, "Can we get any melanin in this story? Can you find me any drip, drop, drab
to talk about these workers in
so Kamau just started
the state?"
They're like, look, we're having some pushback about the lighter skinned descendant. Can we just mix in one sort of like, like little darker, sort of like, cocoa colored descendant, something like that, just to give the story some pop, to have it more relatable to a certain section of people we're trying to get.
We missed the gem of the story, and they tell Black people in the DC area how you can easily submit your DNA for comparison to this project.
Hopes to find more relatives too.
Their story is the American story, and we are so thrilled to be able to tell it.
And the Historical Society here at the Catoctin Furnace says they hope to connect with many more descendants in the future and help people learn about their ancestors. News 4 would also like to hear from you too. If you discover you have a connection to the Catoctin Furnace, we would love to tell your story as well. Reporting in Frederick County, Maryland, Amy Cho, News 4.
You stay away from me with your cotton swabs. You are not getting this DNA. Stay. Don't go to.
But Jackie, don't you want to know? Don't you want to know? Don't you want to know?
I know.
The cotton swab's my family pick.
Shut up, Kamau.
And while they're in the business of doing because they keep saying this is what the people want to know about their ancestry. Well, people want a number of things, like healthcare and land and equitable employment and pay and debt relief and an end to war. So if we just giving out what people want, why stop it? Like you said, a cotton swab. Let's keep that same energy.
So can we talk about the potential negatives for Black folks submitting this very private, precious DNA information to accompany a public DNA database like 23andMe, which, by the way, shares its database with law enforcement? They do familial DNA testing. So yeah, you might not have did no dirt, but your third cousin might have did some dirt. So as soon as you put in your DNA, they are coming for your cousin Tyrone. You know what I'm saying? You understand what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot of potential downfalls, like a big downside to this that's obviously not going to be reported by the likes of NBC Washington, right? Especially not when an esteemed institution like Harvard is involved. Harvard is involved, y'all. It must be on the up and up pertaining to Negroes.
We'll get a new Skip Gates PBS special, though.
That's true. There'll be more ways to relate to, like, oh, wait a minute. Like they had Angela Davis, and they had the DNA that talked about how her family member was an enslaver as opposed to being enslaved. That was the big thing that they wanted to bring out.
Or people came over on the Mayflower, Angela.
Yeah, that was it. That was it. Yeah.
Right. So that should negate all of her Black radicalness.
The perfect book.
Your great granddaddy was a colonizer, so sit your Black ass down.
And then it's like Jared mentioned, like the part in the story where they always go, "These are American stories."
Right.
These are American stories. Yes.
No.
We know what that
but
means.
Kim, I think to your point, I mean, I'm always whatever the results of this endeavor, it's not going to benefit the people in any of the ways that they're claiming. So who knows what scandalousness is going to happen on the other end. But so even if never mind all the potential dangers. So if you are identified as having been connected, if you do this and you're identified as being connected to these workers, what then? Is it just you get the knowledge of this, or are they then, like I'm saying, are you going to connect this to some reparative, materially based project?
You get a certificate, Jared.
You get
You get a nice certificate.
But what does 23andMe get? What does Harvard get? Like, I feel like what people are being asked to give up is far more valuable than whatever limited knowledge they may get in return, right? Like, I just want folks to be a little bit more critical and way more skeptical about just willy-nilly giving up your DNA, man, because you don't know who you're giving it up to. You don't. And most times these companies have the rights to your DNA in perpetuity. That means forever. It means forever. And I know we all want to know where we come from. I get that, but I don't want Harvard to know where the fuck I come from. You know what I'm saying? Like, it ain't
Harvard ain't gonna do nothing about that. With that.
And then 23 or whatever, they send out those links to you through your email or whatever. So my sister had me do one, and every 2 weeks, there's some new thing that they send it into you to say, oh, we got a hit. Now, if you subscribe to like $9.99 for the month or whatever like that, now you get to see what that hit is after they've already charged you for the DNA kit and all the rest of it. So this is, for them, this is increasing their database, allows them to increase their marketing, that kind of thing. And they're always looking for a way to get Black folks in there without saying, we know that we can't get everything for you because of slavery, basically, because of chattel slavery. So they always got to try to figure out some new way. And I guess DeSanchez has given them now the way to do so by now referring to enslaved Black folks as workers or whatever. Like, it just seems to be now this catching on phrase that even the liberal Harvard person is starting to use, as opposed to saying people who were enslaved, brutally oppressed. I didn't hear any of that. So,
yeah, I did the same thing. I got early on with one of these things and got caught up in the fascination of the discovery and the potential and all of that. And they do exactly that. They entice you. You get these hits. You get some interesting tidbits. Like, apparently, if it's all true, apparently I'm very much connected to the early Black community in Jamestown genetically. But then, as you say, after that, it's like, well, then what? And then, you see all these people that I'm theoretically related to all over the world. And it's like, and then I'm like, am I really tracking all these people that I don't really get? It's like, and then like you said, every other email is like, oh, if you just spend XYZ, you can get XYZ, and we'll really tell you, and then it's like, no. But I think Kim raises some very important concerns, and much like other red flags that are being raised as we bring back the ear doctor.
Yeah, well, I'm descended from the Orisha Oya, so I don't have this problem. So I gotta
flex on him, Jackie. Flex on him.
Well, my favorite part was my mom. My sister made my mom's do it. My mom, who also claims, the native thing. She used to claim the native thing.
Indian in my family.
And yeah, and my mom's is so African looking. I was like women. I mean, if it's a percentile, you're lucky. For your viewpoint, you're lucky. but it was all like Bantu. It was all like, like all like West Coast African shit. It was like, see, 99.9% your DNA.
Right from the Senegambia region.
Right, exactly. African. You ain't screwed it up.
Not a drop.
That's not a drop, but you ain't screwed it up with the future lineage. And that some of us can't claim that no more. Thank you, Mom. Thank you.
I would have took you for Moroccan. All right, we're going to go ahead and take a quick break right here on No Other Than the Remix Morning Show.
Remix.
Because I be Moroccan. Rocking his turntables. Big up, everybody. What's good out there? I go by the name of the Ear Doctor, and I would love for you to hit that like button, and if new people coming in, subscribe. We need y'all over here. We got some dope content here for y'all. So with that said, we're going to go to a quick artist spotlight. Actually, my homegirl, Renee Johnston. You say Johnston when you ain't from Trenton. When you're Trenton, you don't pronounce the T's. You just say Johnson. So Renee sent in a musician and said, yo, check this person out. And I said, all right, well, let me check him out. Now, this person is called Samus. And the name of the song is called Time Crisis. So check this out. What y'all think?
Living after 30, what's the verdict from the jury? I heard it from a birdie that the 30 word is dirty, but I'm living my life, yeah. And I wish you would live yours. I thought I had a classic man. I was thinking of a master plan that fell apart faster than the grass under acid rain, or the flash running labs after accidents up in the lab again. Now I read texts for grad school, and when the week sucks, I add booze, and when I'm finna take a little study break, I'm having great sex with rad dudes. I don't like no assholes. I don't like little rascals. They feel the dopamine, and then I rope me, and they call me Wonder Woman. I rock a lasso. Heck, Saturday I'm with bad chicks. If I had to say, look like a pageant. A couple pretty young things, a couple video games. We have a gathering. I call it magic. So what if I wanna be a mom? Do that mean I gotta be alone? Fuck it, I'll wait. What I look like, I'm in rockabye bed. Got the schedule tight, that could fuck up my day. My vagina not a Timex, so why you wind up in my privates? Tell them it's my body to decide if I'ma be about it or I'm childless. Cause regardless, I'm an artist. This art is my catharsis. Spit bars just like an arson. It's a TARDIS to a far distance. So call me a narcissist. You want a war, I want armistice. You want to spar, then you are dismissed. Art is my heart, I will not risk this.
All right. So that right there is Samus. So go check that sister out. That's the artist spotlight for the day. New blood on the scene. With that said, let's get back to the Remix Morning Crew. Now we do.
Go to see.
Get on up.
I wasn't mad at that. I wasn't mad at that at all. I liked all the lyrics, but I wasn't mad at that at all.
I loved all the lyrics. I loved it all.
She said, my vagina is not a Timex. I was
that part,
girl.
But the next bar was, so what, something about running up in my privates. So what is the link? I didn't get that. That was one of the bars that lost me. So like what
her vagina is not a Timex, so it's not time to run up in her privates. Something like that.
I like
pretty much. Don't be trying to control my body.
Point, but I was trying. What is the relationship? I was trying to think. What is the relationship to privacy and the Timex? Because that would have perfected the verse.
I thought you were saying like she'll get pregnant when she wants to, or if she wants to. Don't be like checking her biological clock.
No, I get the point.
Okay.
I understand the point. What I'm saying is to in my humble opinion, to improve the verse, there needed to be something that references what is the relationship between a Timex watch and privacy. If there was some understood link between the two, I think it would have perfect. That's where I was just saying in that moment I got that's all I'm saying.
Kim,
That's
did you ever think of Kamau breaking down bars for Jared Ball?
I mean,
I'm breaking down bars for everybody. Y'all don't understand this hip hop game. Y'all don't understand this hip hop game.
I came up in the 80s and 90s. 90% of the lyrics that were spit by rappers did not make sense, right?
That's
like,
that's,
you know what I mean? So I feel you, Dr. Jared Ball, but I mean, sis was spitting right there.
No question.
Well, all we had to do back in the day is just find 2 or 3 lyrics that we really liked, and the beat carried the rest of it. Just be honest.
I mean, a couple of people misquote, 5% of principles, and all of a sudden it's conscious rap. You feel me? Like,
Nas is still eating off of Greeks learning something deep from their teachers. And I'm like, and then that's the end of his exploration into African history for decades.
But he's forever in the conscious rap category. He's forever in. I agree with that.
Exactly. I was having a conversation with my mom, and she was talking to me about my mother, who, by the way, watches Drink Champs. Don't ask. I don't know why. She said, "You know the boy Noriega?" I said, "Yeah, I do."
It's good TV. Your mom is on point.
Well, she watches when he interviewed George Clinton, he interviewed the Isley brothers, so that's how Noriega has gotten my mother into Drink Champs, which is hilarious. But she was trying to have a conversation with me about the line between so-called conscious rap and denigrating rap, and I don't know when it switched over to the bitches and the hoes, and I said, Mama, boomers don't have clean hands here. Like, if y'all were upset about the content being put out by Gen X, y'all raised us. You know what I'm saying? Like, and she was like, "Well, I never called you a bitch." I said, "A man has never called you a bitch." She said, "Well, probably." You know what I mean? But my point is, I mean,
how old is your mom again? How old is she?
She's 77. She'll be 77.
Okay.
So, yeah,
I mean, she is the 60s generation and shit.
All day.
I mean, there's a lot of free love and sex and all the rest of it.
Come on, you think you can out party these boomers? Good luck.
No,
You think you could ever do it as big as these boomers did it when they was in their 20s and 30s and 40s?
Outdoor nudity festivals, drugs, drinking, nothing like.
And to that point, when people want to throw blame around, I'm like, also to remind them, it was the older generation that was running radio and commercial media that blocked a lot of the good music from coming up in the first place. So all the better aspects of the culture were suppressed by the very people who were like, y'all not gonna make us look bad, and all this other kind. We got to get our ad revenue, and we got to, all that other kind of stuff. So they, so don't get. I mean, everybody's hands is a mess.
Yes, that's correct. I would agree. I would agree. But no, sis was spitting right there. Like, I don't listen to a lot of these newer women rappers, but I've heard Lotto, and I'm like, this is y'all star? Like, this is y'all hero? Like, old girl who you just played could rap circles around that broad. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know. Lotto could spit.
But this is a moment for female MCs, right? Like, not that I listen, but when I'm on turning around, I hear a lot of female MCs now, which I feel like it surpasses the quantity of like 15, 20, 30 years ago when I was listening on a regular basis. I just haphazardly would turn on the radio and hear a whole bunch of women MCs and be like, oh shit, okay.
Speaking of, tomorrow we're going to have a quick segment with some sisters, and we're going to talk about Ladies First documentary. And we're going to talk about lady MCs.
And check out Kalonji interviewed Dream Hampton recently. And that was a really good interview that talked about not only her history, the present project that she's been working on. So that's a really cool piece. So we should check that out.
And then Rosa was on with Piper.
Rosa was on with
Rosa
Piper.
Clemente was on with Piper too. So it's
Ball did the hip hop narrative.
And I was hating on all of it. So,
I did a hip hop mix. We did a lot of hip hop this week. But I know we got a couple stories. Definitely we need to go ahead and talk about, especially I made this whole thumbnail up, so we definitely got to talk about that one right
Clarence Thomas. Does somebody have the story pulled up?
Is that who that was?
You know it's Clarence. Well, that's not his body, B. You see the head thing.
He out there on the beach living it up off other people's dime. You know what I'm saying? So that, and I believe some college tuition things going on. But
actually, I think that was my body. They put that on after I got a little team.
As we leave, because one bit I didn't want to lose complete sight of in that story that Kim shared with us. If you looked at the screen, one of the names that came up in terms of Black Maryland was the Proctor family, and I think I want to come back to that when we come back to relate that to the Clarence Thomas story, because there is a direct link intellectually between the Proctor family and Clarence Thomas.
We'll talk that talk.
All right, so we want to bring up the Clarence Thomas since we on it.
Oh,
Jay, you got that?
No, I don't. I can get it real quick, but I don't have it immediately.
Yeah, you get that.
While I pull this up, well, go ahead. Did you have something you wanted to?
No. I was going to ask you to pull the story up. I didn't have access to it.
As I'm pulling it up, I'll just quickly say, if anybody's familiar with the history of Black Maryland, one of the names that often comes up is the Proctor family, and the Proctor family is notorious for being a Black family in Maryland that has wanted to keep itself as light complected as possible. And they've gone well out of their way for decades, if not longer, to make sure. And I, in fact, went to undergrad with a proctor, and this was all reconfirmed. The legends were all reconfirmed in his presence and his practice. He explicitly said he was only going to date white women because he himself was seen as maybe a few shades browner than Kim, maybe. And he was himself already being told by his family, "You're too dark. You're messing up the bloodline." Yeah, there's a very light skin complexion.
You could be talking about my family, my mother's people out of Central Virginia, rural Virginia, a long-time free Black community for hundreds of years, light skin. And I will say a little bit of family shame here. Like, there was a lot of intermarrying of cousins for a long time because why they wanted to keep them lights. You know, you can't be marrying these outside Africans because you're going to blacken up the dating pool. What you doing? Your second cousin is right there. Jesus.
This dude and a buddy of mine at the lunch table one day got into an argument, and my man called him and said during the argument, he said, "My man, you have a white dick," meaning that's all he wanted. And years later, when this dude graduated, his graduation art project was a life-size mannequin, headless, a Black body, life-size, headless, with the head made white and held in the hands at the place in the crotch. That was it. He had internalized the verbal assault and behaved it, lived it, and then performed it in his own graduating art project. That's how. And then years later, he went to teach in Montgomery public schools and got arrested for having an illicit affair with a 15-year-old. So, but anyway, white girl. But anyway, just to complete the. So when I saw the name on the thing, and I was like, oh my goodness. So that's what I'm saying. Intellectually, this desire for whiteness is right on display at the highest levels. If you take that logic and put it on display, that is the segue I was, trying to put together here for this story. So anyway, I turn it over to either of you to.
I don't know the story. What's going on with Clarence?
So it says
before you do that, so really quick. This is about, so just to let folks know, for those, we're doing this broadcast through Yard Stream, right? It says Yard Stream. That's the name. StreamYard. Something like StreamYard. Wow. So my bad. But for whatever reason, the live chat is not coming through for us right now.
I noticed that. Yeah. Okay. I see.
But it is happening on YouTube. So.
Right.
For the ear doctor, the background, if there's anything that you can do that you can see that can be done. So so keep on chatting it up. We'll look over at the YouTube part, but for us, we can't see the live chat for whatever reason right now. It's not populated.
Oh, right. And to those who are asking me if I'm that story is a fully true story, and it's even more crazy than that. But we'll leave it there for now. But anyway. The headline here, Clarence Thomas's 38 vacations, the other billionaires who have treated the Supreme Court justice to luxury travel. Wow.
There's only 52 weeks in the year, my guy. Like, no, you're getting 38 vacations. Jesus.
And then he's just, back in time to rule against humanity and then back on another trip, right? He's just like, he comes in there, asks what does he do? Ask Scalia or somebody. Who does he ask nowadays to where do I sign, boss?
Alito. I think he asked Alito,
right?
Yeah.
Alito, one of them fools. Which one died? The other, whatever one. Whatever. He's asking somebody, his sponsors, where do I sign, boss? The fullest accounting yet shows how Thomas has secretly reaped the benefits from a network of wealthy and well-connected patrons that is far more extensive than previously understood. During his 3 decades on the Supreme Court, Clarence Thomas has enjoyed steady access to a lifestyle most Americans can only imagine. A cadre of industry titans and ultra-wealthy executives have treated him to far-flung vacations aboard their yachts, ushered him into the premium suites at sporting events, and sent their private jets to fetch him, including on more than one occasion an entire 737. God damn. It's a stream of luxury that is both more extensive and from a far wider circle than has been previously understood. Let's see. At least 38 destination vacations, including previously unreported voyage on a yacht around the Bahamas, 26 private jet flights, plus an additional 8 by helicopter, a dozen VIP passes to professional and college sporting events, typically perched in the skybox, 2 stays at luxury resorts in Florida and Jamaica, and 1 standing invitation to an uber exclusive golf club overlooking the Atlantic coast. Whew. Let's see. In my career, I don't remember ever seeing this degree of largesse given to anybody, said Jeremy Fogel, a former federal judge.
Anybody, Jeremy? Anybody? Like, I mean, don't get me wrong. Clarence is out here clearly doing a lot. Is Clarence the only one out here doing a lot? I don't think so.
Fair point.
I think just because Clarence is nouveau at it, he just does it so badly. He doesn't know how to accept the graft on the DL like his compatriots do. That's the problem with Clarence. It's not like he's the only one, but he's been particularly sloppy at it and has accepted probably so much that he just don't even know how. He's just like, give me that tuition here, hotel stay there, yacht trip there, boat ride here, plane trip here. He's just like, just give it all up. And no one has sat him down and been like, Clarence,
set him down for what? There are no rules. There's no oversight for the Supreme Court.
Others do it better. Do you see these stories coming out about the other ones as much?
Sure.
I'm just talking about that. I'm not talking about. I'm just saying, like, get your cousin to get the ticket in his name. Well, get your wife's brothers, uncles, whatever, and then you just go on the whatever, something.
Yeah.
Get the law, change the logs. So it's Clarence Roberts and not Clarence Thomas. Use your whatever name. Use your mama's name. Something. There's something he's just not doing right to have this much graft, this publicly available.
I mean, despite all of his best efforts, to the point about the proctors, he's still black. I mean, so like that's what he's not doing right.
So what's the connection with the proctors?
My only point about the connection is this endeavor towards whiteness. Like once this desire for whiteness, this I want to out-white the whites. I want to, I want to, like that's really what I'm saying. He can't do it. So whenever necessary. And it is interesting to both. I mean, I get, on the one hand, you don't want to at all be seen as supporting the behavior, but on the other, it's hard not to notice in several instances where the black face has become the national symbol for whatever crimes are happening in humanity. Yeah. Like, it's like, so Kim, I think your initial reaction is right. It's like, okay, but is he really the worst? Or is this just...
Is he the sloppiest to come out point? He may not be the worst, but he's the sloppiest.
He just knew it. He doesn't have generations of practice of it. You know what I'm saying? His family just got money. They just got money. So he's like Obama. Well, I don't know if Obama even qualifies. He's just new. He's just new at being in these circles, relatively speaking. You know what I mean? So I think that's part of why there's so much information on him as opposed to like a Roberts, who's like, you know, probably generationally, they've been like lawyers all up and through the family, taking money and doing dirty.
Oh, yeah.
So they already figured out that shit out long ago about the trust and how to do this.
That's right. Yeah, old money is in bunkers. New money is on yachts.
Yeah. They know how to handle that. They know how to handle the draft.
Like, we're not gonna be seen by nobody.
Yeah. It's like, here, donate to my cousin's 501c3 foundation to help the poor kids. The new Maui Relief Fund. Donate there.
Oh,
you know, they know how to get that graft. You know, Clarence is just like, you know, give it up, fool. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? You want this vote? You want this vote, son? You want this vote? I need some caviar. Deliver it to me now at 5 o'clock. Let me get my white bitch to pick it up. Pick that up. Open that door, girl. Get that shit. Get that. Bring that shit up in here. Yeah.
Who do y'all think run things in that household?
I think she
Clarence
does.
run things or Jenny run things?
Yeah, Jenny runs things.
She's definitely in charge.
Yeah, Jenny is.
And that's where I'm like, her game is a little sloppy in this regard too. Maybe it's like, you know what?
Do we know her background? Do we know if she comes from white wealth, or is she just some average white woman?
Is she new money? Is she new money? You know what?
I don't know.
Very average. She gives recently connect. You know what I'm saying? In her adulthood, like she got connected, she got plugged in. She's not giving me
because old
classy
money's
white
not giving
at all.
They're not even old money's not even giving their worst daughter to Clarence.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying? They're like. Like even the daughter, they don't want to claim. They're like, nah.
No.
Yeah, Jenny didn't. Yeah. That, and again, another foul play for him as to why they can't cover it, because she don't know what she's doing either. You know, and she's out with her right wing stuff is just like, cow, you know.
Yeah, I like Clarence and Jenny Thomas. To me, like Clarence Thomas could have met Jenny Thomas walking through Laurel Mall in 1987 very easily. You know what I'm saying? Like, like they did not meet at the cotillion. You feel me?
And I'm sorry if people are not familiar with Laurel Mall. The joke was delicious. Give Kim her credit. Because Laurel Mall, she didn't say, you know, Pentagon City or something, even Columbia Mall. She said Laurel Mall. Good Lord.
Let me
is that akin to Albee Square Mall in the 80s or some shit like that?
It's like some strip something that you would see in some corner in Brooklyn, maybe like it.
And the wild thing about my hometown,
an extended bodega,
in the time in which I came up, listen, the thick white girls had a line of black dudes. You know what I'm saying? Like white girls was never lonely in Laurel. You understand? Like white girl always had a brothers waiting in the wings. And Jenny looked like one of them Laurel Mall all-stars, and Clarence was right there. I said, "Oh, Jesus."
She was like, "Got him." That's where that comes from.
She's like, "You gonna be a what? You gonna be a lawyer? All right."
And then her family was like kicking her out the door. You better go get that. No, bro. Anyway, that is. Oh man.
Oh yeah.
So
38 vacations.
So if we could just, because there was one other story here before Ear Doctor comes through with this mix that he owes us clearly, because the remixers have come through again, well over 400 again this morning.
They dropping cash today.
They dropping cash. They want
somebody just ran us 5. Come out. Who just ran us 5?
Stop playing.
I got 5.
Where do we see
it? Stop popping up for me. The last one I got is
the chat. Yeah, the chat isn't.
The chat ain't working here.
I did see. No, Ruckus. Infinite
Thank
content. Yeah, sorry. Yeah. Called him Ruckus Thomas. Oh, there it is. There it is. Oh, no, that's not it. That's not it. But anyway, the just quickly, because I actually rabbit holed a little bit on this one. But the short of it is universities is just ripping everybody off. So, and it's the most elite ones, of course. University of Chicago agrees to pay $13.5 million to students after being accused of participating in a price-fixing cartel with other prestigious schools to limit financial aid. Yeah. So, and the short version is that universities are not supposed to assess the potential ability for students to afford the tuition when considering who's getting into the university. But these handful of elite universities, including University of Chicago, Yale, Northwestern, Duke, and some others I'll get to in a second, they all decided, let's all work together to adjust our tuitions to make sure not only that we are our admissions rather, we're not only accepting the top tier students, so to speak, but the ones that can actually pay and don't need financial aid. And this is, of course, not supposed to officially happen. It's supposed to be a need blind assessment so that people who are technically quote unquote poor, who are qualified to get into the university, can get accepted and then be assessed for their need for financial aid. But if you don't want to give up any money for financial aid and you only want the rich kids who can pay for it, this is what you do. So they're called the 568 Presidents Group, which refers to the 568 is the bill number that is supposed to protect against this. And they are accused of participating in a price-fixing cartel designed to reduce or eliminate financial aid as the locus of competition, and that, in fact, has artificially inflated the net price of attendance for students receiving financial aid per the original legal filing. So not only do they do this, but then those who do get financial aid have to end up getting more to pay for an increased cost. So the lawsuit targeted an antitrust exemption in Section 568 of the Higher Education Act that allowed schools to collaborate on financial aid formulas if they are, quote, need blind, meaning they do not consider a student's ability to pay in the admissions process. The plaintiffs claimed the school's admissions were not truly need blind and found ways to take into account the wealth of prospective students, a prospective student would bring to the school. So the University of Chicago paid. This also involved Cornell, which, by the way, Cornell, when I was there, I don't know what it is, but this is, almost 20 years ago, they had a $14 billion endowment. So the idea that Cornell, they just have endless amounts of money. It's just ridiculous. So Georgetown, which is supposed to be doing the reparations for descendants, and MIT, Northwestern, Notre Dame, Penn, Rice, Vanderbilt, and Yale, all were involved in this. So if you attended Brown, Dartmouth, or Emory from 2004, it's just another way. And I'm reading this book, this new book about the universities as corporations and what they really are entitled to do, called the Autocratic Academy, and what we think are our rights as both students, faculty, staff, etc., are not real, actually. And these institutions can basically, by the definition of their charters, do whatever the hell they want, whenever they want. And this is just another way for them to do this. So as more students overall are going to college, as more poor people, more Black and brown people are going to college, the elite have just, again, found a way to make themselves more exclusive, more costly, and to pass on the cost of all of that to everybody else. So, yeah, anyway, it's just madness. So the only other thing I wanted to add is that just this defensiveness I do feel around some of the outside critique of academia and academics is that I do hope people begin to better appreciate the position we are in and what can and cannot actually be expected of us as a revolutionary workforce. That yes, my job is in many ways better than many others, but this idea that I or any of us have this degree of freedom and power is part of the mythology. It just doesn't exist. So this is in terms of how they address themselves to students. One way that this plays out, I've been complaining for a while about how it plays out in terms of faculty and others, but these are not centers of revolution, is I guess where I'll stop.
Real quick, Brandon, thank you so much for your $49.99 super chat donation. Brandon says that he loves BPM and appreciates everything that we do. So Brandon, thank you so much for your generosity.
Right on. Thank you, Brandon.
Yeah, it's like, it's at these schools, the tuition never goes down. There's never a time period when they freeze tuition hikes or freeze tuition payments. They don't offer a multitude and that's the thing, like some of these elite schools and even these middle run schools, literally billions of dollars, like you said, like saved up or in trust. It's not like they and then you'll have the time period where some billionaire will come on, I'm going to pay everybody's tuition for whatever. It's like the schools can literally just forego tuition payments for a semester or a year or whatever and not feel it whatsoever, but not stick students. And again, these days students are getting, hundreds of thousands per year. They walk out of debt with $300,000 in undergrad debt. And then they go to postdoc or they go to law school or medical school. You're talking literally $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 on top of that. So it's complete racket. And so when folks talk about why can't the state end tuition payments or forgive tuition payments, again, in terms of their sort of compatriots in Europe, they're similarly situated countries. Most of those countries have free higher education systems where, i.e., paid through taxes as opposed to generating more through tuition pay. There's nothing that stops the United States from having that kind of system. And in fact, obviously, in different places before there was open admissions and before they allowed more Black folks to come, places like CUNY, at one point they had free tuition. And then when, long ago when I went, tuition was like $695. And then they started, one of the biggest and earliest things I participated in was around the CUNY price tuition hikes in 95. And at that time, was major. It was going from $695 to like over $1,000. But that was a huge increase at that particular time. But it wasn't necessary. It wasn't like the city depended on that money. It was just an extra way to get resources out of people. And then, like Jared said, to control who gets to go to those schools in the first place, because after a while, certain folks can't continue to apply for loans, or the financial aid won't make up the difference.
Or if they can look up and see you can't afford it and bring wealth to the campus, you're just not going to get in. That's what they were doing. They're like, he can't get, he might have scored well, but she can't pay. He can't pay. So yeah, it's. And then I'm looking at this story also, just sent and thanks Aaliyah for this story about what's happening at Howard University with more violence on campus and theft on campus, and so all the contradictions are playing out where you have even universities are struggling to increase security to protect, quote unquote, protect their students from the surrounding communities that are themselves devolving. And then looking at, just the other day when we were at Howard, and my daughter and I had to take a long walk uptown to get to Howard's campus, and admittedly she's been quite sheltered, but that long walk was quite exposing, because you get to see again and be reminded that not all of DC has been gentrified yet. There is still this huge class divide between Howard's campus and the surrounding community. So when you read about these stories of people getting jacked for their iPhones, as people are sitting there, and we're there on the day first year students are moving in, so there's all this activity. If I already see it the same way. If I was living in the community, that would be a day marked on my calendar. I'm like, this is time to get fed.
Hey.
And so iPhones getting jacked, fat wallets getting jacked, people's suitcases getting people getting their Jordans jacked, according to this story.
But to be clear, that's not necessarily a new phenomenon. I also attended college on an inner city campus, and Temple students get robbed. Like that's
absolutely.
I mean that's an everyday occurrence going back 40 years. You know what I'm saying? Like,
just to say that things aren't getting any better, and it's just exacerbating. The problems are just continuing to exacerbate. And I'm not advocating, and I don't want people to get hurt and all that. I'm just saying that. But I do understand the logic of I'm sitting here, and even we're walking up the street with my daughter, and she's like, "Damn!" I mean, of course now everything's legal, so it's like a whole bunch of smoke out there. It's a whole bunch. Everybody's out on the corner, And then you walking up the street, you're seeing people pulling up in these Mercedes and SUVs, and they're unloading this, and they're carrying these big screen TVs up the street to go into the thing. Even my daughter was like, "They bringing the TVs to the." I was like, "Yeah, some of these dorms are it's plush in that joint." and then right across the street, that same McDonald's is still there. the same, you know.
And what the schools do,
housing,
what the schools do now is, and again, this is probably over the last 15, 20 years, and Aget would tell me stories about Spelman. Like, you know, those neighborhoods were working class, poor neighborhoods that folks would interact with. But what do the schools do? They put up walls. They put up huge fences. Yes. They literally put up walls and then they slowly go around figuring out how to buy up the block and move those folks off. And so the places that aren't gentrified are the places that they haven't brought up yet and figured out how to take over and extend. And that's you know, plan A and B. I'm gonna put up walls and then I'm gonna take this neighborhood over. I'm not gonna do anything for the community. I'm gonna tell folks to stay away from the community. I'm gonna make it feel or sound dangerous for folks to interact with folks in the neighborhood. And then boom, in 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, I'm gonna take all that endowment money and we're gonna have our new science lab right there where the working class used to live. That's the other role that the schools play, is and obviously the black schools as well as the white schools. The white schools just have more money to do it, but the black schools do it too. So
that Georgia Street Cafe I used to go to see community lectures is now a Starbucks right down the street.
You mean Georgia Avenue?
The Georgia Avenue Cafe right down the street from Howard is now a Starbucks. So it's like, you know. Yeah. Anyway, but speaking of coming up and getting better, let's give him a more appropriate segue this time. Is the ear doctor?
Yo, I remember like 10 years ago, me and my homeboy Jamil was driving up to Jersey, and we was like, "Yo, there's no way we drove all night. We was like, we can't make it to Jersey. We got to go stop in D.C. and get some trees to continue to make it." So we stopped at that McDonald's.
Not food.
Nah. we had to get some vegetation in our system. So we stopped at that McDonald's and was just like, yo, we got to find a somebody out here selling. And bam.
Oh, yeah.
Found somebody. Absolutely. Got our little dime bag and we kept it up the road.
That McDonald's is, I told my daughter, I said, this is either the most famous or infamous McDonald's in D.C., depending on your view. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
That's homecoming McDonald's. Anyway, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh man, there's a lot of those McDonald's. There's one right there on Broad Street by Philly, by Temple campus. They used to call it Club McDonald's on Saturdays.
You already know. All right, I think I just seen, Twitch is working over here on the chat room on far side. Anyway, thank you all for tuning in again for another show, the Remix Morning Show. That being said, we're going to go ahead and do a mix. I know I'm talking crazy. We're going to go ahead and do a quick mix, and we're going to go ahead and get back here. We got 5 minutes.
5 minutes?
5 minutes. Still get it going.
All right.
Get busy.
Play some J. Rule.
Say some J. Rule? All right, got you.
Play some J.
Kanye West, come on, turn me up, and Black Thought, come on, turn me up, and Terry Monster, come on, turn me up, and tell her Wally in the house, Gorilla Monsoon rap. All the shorties like, who that? Got the whole crowd like, how you do that? Nigga, you get smacked till you're blue, black, and your crew give me dap like true that. We come through, and all the shorties like, who that? Got the whole crowd like, how you do that? Nigga, you get smacked till you're blue, black, and your crew give me dap like true that.
I hear these MCs with the grip of death like I was a Vulcan. Ain't a lot of ifs and ands, it's just straight talking. It's hard to swallow at times, so take caution. Biting off more than you could create.
I'm the Bismarck King, I'm known for beatboxing and rap. And now it's time to put Long Island on the map. And letting you know that it'll put you in a trance. Something funny made by me and it's called the Biz Dance. I think the way I do it is so unique. By the way, I move my hand, hips, legs, and feet. But if you think that you can master it, you got a fat chance. Cause it's very difficult to do. What is it called?
Just when I think that I forgot you, I hear that dub that we used to rock to. Just when I think I'm getting on without you, somebody passed and asked me about you. Was in the back of a cab the other day. Swear to God I saw you walking past the other way. Wait a minute, my heart rushed, my face flushed. Tell the driver hit the brakes, slow the pace up. Wait up, it wasn't you. Realized it's some mirage I was running to. Damn, can the effects of love and time cause the mind to trick the eye? I wonder how you're getting by, and all the stars still in your eye. And do you still just get the vibe? To break the bank to spend the time, or reminisce and shift the time to when you was mine.
Years ago, all the world, all out, all out. Let's talk about it. What? Yeah, then put your hands up. What? Put your hands up, now put your hands up, now get your back up off the wall.
I'm better feeling than running raw, chain gang ling. I need a swing. What's your cast thing? I'ma do when I get real money. Piano keys, play the series, piece of Lil C.
trophies, microphone, track board, loose cord, oh lord. Promo number 1, so dot X of the grenade. Then the very next day I smashed the joint, Ali played it, we delayed by 90 days. You better find me anyways, a return to the terror dome, ain't nobody home. Non-haters play the corner in the elevator. Crash cruise, smack your open palm so you don't bruise. You push a button and what happened? Nothing. I push one and there's a man with the gun in the doorway. I'm in 4A, I've been in there all day. I had some smoke, 3 ladies, and chicken on a slab. There's enough for everybody, so y'all cats don't grab.
Now clock, kids, who got the... Don't tell me it's the little kids, I'm so trained. The metaphor sent from my brain to my jaw. It comes from other places, not the tinted faces. Journalistic values are yellow and then of course falters. You watch Channel Zero with that Bible Alters. Should have you believe black invented crack when President Lyndon had the formula way back in 63 with Kennedy. Yes, the double cross. Remember that's when they blow his head off. Vietnam vets come back looking like one-armed pets. Nixon bounce, pure text. No picket fence, no job, no eight-cylinder car. Blue collar turns to bourgeois. Depressed in your chest. Them are all for cess, no dough. Cracking bales, much glass. White tea can sell on the corners of Bushwick. White tea can sell on the corners of Flatbush. White tees can sell on the corners of Bed-Stuy. Pass the torch to that guy. So just die.
In a car truck, you couldn't come to the jungles of the East. Poppin' that gang, you won't survive. Get live, catching wreck is our thing. I don't gang bang or shoot out bang bang.
We out of here, yo.
Lyrics, the only dope I slang. I'm a true master. You can check my credentials, cause I choose to use my infinite potential. Got a freaky flow. Control the mic like Fidel Castro, like Cuba. So deep that you can scuba dive my job.
We out of here, y'all. Remix Morning Show. Let's go.
Accumulated on these